talking about UX debt. UX debt is a very practical thing. It's not something bookish that you'll learn the definition, you'll go back and you'll be able to overcome it or you'll be able to cure it. In order to understand UX debt, first you'll need to understand how UX debt is born, which itself will explain what UX debt is. When a product is started, it is debt free, be it any kind of debt, be it UX debt, be it technical debt. The reason it is debt free is it is based on certain assumptions, and you make sure to incorporate solutions or features to meet those assumptions. The real game starts when it is launched and the user uses it. Then the new insights or learnings comes, and you try to incorporate those insights or build your product basis on those learnings. Now, how you are choosing the solution to incorporate that design takes you to the UX that part. So let's understand this quickly with help of an example. Let's say you want to make a lead management software or CRM with very basic requirements, that is capturing a lead, distributing those leads to different departments, and following up those leads. The product is made and launched. Post that, user starts coming in. One of the feedback is that the user wants you to segregate the leads into different stages. Now here you can proceed in two ways. First, you do a user testing on the user feedback to identify the different stages, and then you find the best way or best possible solution to make a flow that how the stages could be shown. Another could be a very quick fix that you identify the stages yourself and then you provide a filter to show the different stages. Depending upon the timeline of the project, if there is a steep deadline, you prefer to go ahead with the second solution, which is a quick fix. So you choosing that second solution creates a UX debt which you'll have to pay off sometime later. You don't know when, but when you need to make that platform more scalable, the time that you'll end up paying to fix that solution that is already there is way more than the time you have saved by not doing that user testing or providing a quick filter, which is a UX debt payoff. So, coming to the impact of UX debt, there are numerous impacts, but I would like to focus mainly on three major components. First is scalability, which takes a major hit. You cannot build a solution or a product on patchy solution and quick fixes. In order to make a solution scalable, you really need to have spaces available to accommodate the future requirements and user feedbacks well. There follows another side effect of UX, that adaptability. You build a software, you have provided a quick fix, and after some time you come back to fix that because you want to make your solution scalable. But between that duration, meanwhile, your user has already adapted the previous solution. It might be a poorly designed one, but they have adapted it. So in case if you want them to switch to a better solution, it will come with a adaptability cost, and it becomes very difficult for the team to maintain different versions for the old users and new users. So this is how adaptability again becomes a side effect of UX debt. The next thing that follows both of them is UX inconsistency. So what happens when we talk about consistency or design consistency, we majorly talk about the UI elements, that is color, your typography, fonts, but we miss a major part of it being UX. In a product there are multiple modules or multiple features. Few of them could be very well designed and well thought of solutions, whereas few of them could be very poorly designed because of the quick fixes that we discussed previously. Now, in a product ecosystem, all of these modules or features are most of the time interconnected, and in such scenarios what happens, your poorly designed part or features becomes bottleneck for the entire ecosystem, and this bottleneck hampers the overall user experience. UX deaths are inevitable. You cannot do anything to avoid them 100%. But of course, you can always minimize them. So, how you can do that is by maintaining a strict backlog sheet where you timely update all the quick fixes or impromptu solution that has been done in the system, and later on you can go back to that sheet to solve the UX glitches. You can achieve this by running design sprints every quarter or time as per your convenience, where the purpose of sprint will be solely to address or fix the UX deaths or glitches that are there on the system, rather than working on any new feature or new update. And apart from that, the biggest precaution will be to choose scalable and better solution rather than quick fixes. I know it's very difficult and it's not 100% avoidable, but then there needs to be a balance between a quick fix and a scalable solution.